Welcome dear friends. Welcome again to my channel Geotechnical Engineering Consultancy Tips. This is numbered as lecture 11, although this is lecture 14th in the series. In the last lecture of mine, I had discussed about how to decide the depth of borehole in reference to anticipated maximum storm level for any major river bridge. In continuation with that, today I will be discussing about how to prepare the field test results and the lab test results, which is to be enclosed in the final report, while including the bearing capacity calculations from shear as well as settlement criteria in reference to the respective Indian Roads Congress codes or Indian Standard codes. Now, actually what need to be done is, in the field test results, these are the 9 points which need necessarily be included into it, in which number 1 is we have to indicate the borehole number. Like this, you can say this is a profile which I am mentioning you, referring to with BH1, BH2, borehole 2, borehole 3, borehole 4 and borehole 5. So first of all, we have to mention the borehole number out there, then the elevation, the reduced level, that is the RL, the top RL from where we start the investigation depth, that is the reduced level of that very borehole in meters. Then we have to mention the depth of the sample. Say for example, we are collecting one disturbed sample here, one undisturbed sample here. This is just for the sake of example, and one SPT sample here. So all these samples, RL, reduced level, are also to be mentioned in the chart, along with the date of sampling and the nature type of sample, that is whether it is disturbed or undisturbed or standard condition test sample, along with the sample reference number, which need necessarily be numbered at the site, so that when we bring them to the laboratory, they are easily identifiable while doing the testing, and when we accumulate those results in the lab test result sheets, they are easily identifiable. Alongside this, we have to mention the groundwater table level also as well in these boreholes, and we have to mention the level of artesian conditions, if any, found with or met with at the site. After that, the SPT value, wherever we take the SPT values. So now coming to point number 8, the SPT values, the standard penetration test values, are also noted on the field along the boreholes. What I have mentioned here is that the sampling is generally done at the rate of 1.5 meter interval, moving downwards from the ground level. So that is why I have mentioned here for the sake of example, because I will be discussing with you the subsoil profile, how to incorporate this also in the report. So that is why some levels are being written here. After that, we may inbuild the static penetration resistance test results also into it, which consists of point resistance and skin resistance. Now, how this is being reported in the result sheet is that vertically we have to mention the RLs, and all these tests we have to mention here as at serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. And you can add also this as point number 10, the dia of the borehole. The dia of casing or the dia of the borehole as item number 10. in this field test results chart. Coming over to the lab test results, which is also the part of the report, because field test results are being verified by the engineer in charge at the field and the laboratory who has gone to collect the samples, and after your lab test results are complete, these ticked items are to be inbuilt into the lab test result sheets along with these additional test items. Likewise, elevation of borehole, depth of sample, date of sampling, nature and type of samples, whether it is disturbed, undisturbed, or standard test sample, sample reference number, groundwater table level, artesian condition if any, n values with n dash and n double dash. N dash is standard penetration test value corrected for overburden, and this is the n value corrected for direct NC. This also need to be incorporated in the lab test result sheets. And along with this, additionally we have to symbolically represent the soil sample after it has been identified in the laboratory, whether it is clay soil or sandy soil or sandy silt soil or silty clay or clay silt or organic clay, etc. And likewise, which I had already discussed with you in the lecture mentioning the classification of the soil samples. Alongside, we have to mention the grain size analysis also as well, with sand, silt, clay percentage in the samples collected at whatsoever depth along the borehole while moving downwards. Other than this, specific gravity, wet density, dry density, moisture content of each of those samples collected at on the site, which have been tested into the laboratory, have to be inbuilt into these result sheets. Other than this, unconfined compressive strength test of the undisturbed sample or the remolded sample need be mentioned. Other than this, shear strength parameters like cohesion and angle of internal friction, which may be from direct shear test or drag shear test, are to be reported in the result sheets along with compression index for clay soil, CC value, and this all also has to be depicted in this very format which I have discussed just below. Likewise, in the field test results and similarly the lab test results, this number of items will be increased and it will be representable like this. After that, you can also inbuilt into this the harmful salts content of each and every sample collected at the site and the organic matter if any. Harmful soils may consist of carbonates, chlorides and sulfates. This has already been mentioned and discussed in one or two of my previous lectures. Now, the combined subsoil profile is a very important aspect which need necessarily be incorporated in any investigation, geotechnical investigation work being carried for any major river bridge because this will give you at a glance one page situation defining about the comparative profile of the site from left bank of the river to the right bank of the river along with high flood level, low water level and the location of the boreholes being conducted. Say ये हमारा Pier 1 के लिए borehole हुआ है, this one is for Pier 2, this borehole is for Pier 2, this borehole is for Pier 3, this is for abutment 1, this is for abutment 2. So what you can say is that this is a bridge comprising of 4 spans which includes 3 piers and 2 abutments. So in a combined profile, everything is being made crystal clear of the bridge situation because in this we have to inbuild the anticipated maximum scour level also, the proposed founding level also, and the influence zone depth which is 1.5 times the proposed foundation width, and what has been demarcated as this dots and this dashed line and this complete diagonal lines and this complete diagonal line and this one are, say for example, representations about the kind of the soil metric. Say this is sand, you can say this is sand, although this has all to be necessarily depicted as per the relevant codes. This you can say has been assumed to be as clay. This also has been assumed as clay. This you can say we have encountered something rock kind of thing. You can say this is sand. This is some other group of soil classification. So what exactly is that? This combined subsoil profile gives you the complete picture of the whole site. So this is to be necessarily inbuilt into the report. This is all what I wanted to explain you all in this lecture of mine, and all this is being referred to in reference to Indian Roads Congress Code number 78 published in 2014, and you can refer to the latest reaffirmed code also if it has been done so. Although moreover all these things are being continued till date in the reference reaffirmed codes till date, because this code has been revised of recent as part 1 and part 2 also. The old one and the part 2 is for you can say limit state method. So that is what I wish to say and explain to you, dear friends, in this lecture of mine. Hope you would have enjoyed my lecture. Please shower your love and blessings by subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much.